day, and I am here with my sister from another mister, the one and only. If you don't know her, her name is Whitney Bailey, and she is the host of the fabulous Spastic Chatter. We go way back, like two flat tires. But hey, Whitney, I'm glad you're with me tonight. It's girls only because AJ is out of town, so I'm really excited to sit down with you and chat, and let's just do girl things.
Hey Shannon, it's nice to be on. It's nice to be here. And like Shannon said, I'm Whitney Bailey. I'm the host of Spastic Chatter, so I'm used to being on the other side of interviews. So I might be a little rusty for this
It's
interview.
cool, girl. It's cool. We're friends. It's all good. It's all good. Like I told you, this is easy peasy. We didn't even set aside questions for you or anything. This is easy peasy. We all know
that's how I do it. I put people on the spot. So you're gonna put me on the spot. You're gonna give me a taste of my own medicine.
Yeah, well, it's always fun to do that. Anyway, before we really get into the show, I just want to say, well, first of all, thanks to Whitney, but let's take care of some in-house things and thank our sponsors and supporters for today's show. First of all, I would like to invite all of you to join AJ and I and Whitney at the 6th Annual Cerebral Palsy Conference this in October, on October 1st and 2nd. We're all going to be there because it's virtual. So this year's going to be awesome. They're going to have great speakers and wonderful breakout sessions. So you guys make sure you head on over to cpconference.org and register today. It's free. And you can join Whitney and myself and our co-host AJ. So yeah, everybody be there and be there over square.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be fun. So hey girl, what's been up? I know I've done an interview for Whitney, and Whitney's done different things with me, but we haven't caught up lately. So let's catch up. What's going on?
Not much. I'm just busy working from home and taking care of my dog, my baby, and the whole like COVID situation. How's
the summer been for you? I know you took a vacation at the beach. You were chilling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I went to the beach for a week. That was pretty fun. But other than that, I haven't been my usual self, like causing trouble.
Yeah.
It's really driving me crazy. Like,
damn this COVID.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's really kind of what one topic I wanted to talk about. I know we've talked about it in the past, but how do you feel pandemic situation has kind of affected your work reality these days?
My work reality, if I'm being honest, like the pandemic has like made it skyrocket because as you know, I started my podcast at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020 because I was bored at home and wanted to like do something, so I started a podcast. And it just like took off, and then I actually work from home, so my work situation has not changed because of the pandemic. I kind of feel like it's like the pandemic has been like a blessing really in disguise for disabled individuals because it's given society like a taste of what could be possible, like the virtual situation. But then I'm like, well, where were the use accommodations way back when like why wasn't the virtual options offered
available
pre-pandemic?
Yeah,
like
that's what, and we all are still pushing for that in society as disabled individuals. I think that's our main goal, is for it to be something to that effect. And I know that you and I were talking a little bit before air about how long we've been doing this advocate thing, and it just it really sparks an interest in me, number one, like you, but it also kind of kicks my tail and makes me think about what would have been possible had somebody thought about that beforehand, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know, why is it taking so long? I saw a video the other day about I was researching for another topic, and the video basically focused on yeah, it's great that we got to 31 years with the ADA. However, why has it taken 31 years for us to get there?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So that's kind of the same question.
There's still, even though we've been, even though the ADA has been around for 31 years, there's still like loopholes in the ADA, and like the ADA
Right.
doesn't always get enforced. So it's still like a work in progress, which it's true for everything in life. Everything is a work in progress. So
Right, exactly. You know, but touching on that a little bit more is like the same thing. People use words like grandfathered in, or
yeah,
you know, and you know, those things should be non-existent. Those words should be non-existent to this point, but we're still there, and you know, there's definite work that needs to be done. However, I think we're getting there, so we have to be grateful for it.
yeah, it's just taking forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, like, what disability topics have you seen or like read about, or that are floating around out there that you like? I know lately a big thing has been like We Are the 15, things like that. What can you speak about, and what are your feelings on things like that? Like the the you know, people are using the platform We Are the 15th as far as the Paralympics and things like that. So speak to those things as far as you're concerned.
I think it's great when those things are like advertised, if it's like if it's like authentic,
Yeah, there you go.
if it's like disability led, like but if it's not authentic, and it's like if an ally is going to advertise those kind of platforms, I think it's great to put that you are an ally for this community, because you're not technically like a part of it as a disabled individual. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, perfect sense. Yeah, absolutely. I think where you and I and the way of our thinking is right on target, because I absolutely think the same thing. If you're going to truly agree with it and be an ally, then be an ally.
Yeah.
You know, don't just use it as a crutch to either make your way into our community. And I'm not like, I'm gonna give a disclaimer here. I'm not bashing anybody in particular. I'm just saying my opinion is, if you're gonna use those kind of things, it's kind of like, I don't know, I know you've heard the word inspiration porn. Like, it's kind of like that thing to me. Like, don't do that, you know, unless you're authentically real about it and you really care about those topics. So
yeah, I don't really like inspiration porn, and that's been a big topic on my podcast lately, is like the word inspiration, and like I'm like, I kind of view it differently now than like my eyes have been kind of opened. Like one topic that I talked to somebody about, I kind of feel like when somebody calls me an inspiration, again, this is my opinion, like so
no, let's talk about it. Let's go into it. That's where I was going anyway.
I kind of feel like when somebody says that, it's like feeding their own
ego.
Like, like, oh, I did something so kind. I complimented them.
I did this today.
Yeah, like it's feeding their own ego. Like, in my view of inspiration, it's cool if I inspire you, but what did that lead to? Like, I'd rather you say that I motivated you, and tell me
how.
Tell me what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Like how I motivated you, because you call me inspirational all damn day, but like those are just words.
Yeah, and I mean, don't let me know that I inspired you, but because I got out of bed today, because I mean, everybody has to do that at some point.
or because you saw me in a bar, or because
Yes, girl. Yes.
you just are. If you saw me in a bar, I'm intoxicated, so that's not very inspiring.
Oh, yes, sir. I completely feel you on that. And like I said, everybody listening and to our viewers, this is kind of an uncensored girl chat. So you may hear some things about our normal life that might get your goat a little bit, but it's our show today and we're here for it. So anyway,
I forgot to give a disclaimer. Spastic Chatter is kind of uncensored, so that's just how I am. So that's why I said I apologize.
No, go for it, girl. You are good. You are good. Like you're good. That's exactly like I told you on our interview a few months back. Like, I'm an open book, so go with it. You know what I mean? And that's exactly how I feel. If you see me in a bar or out on a date with my significant other or anywhere that's not disability related, don't pat me on the head and go, "Oh, it's so nice to see you out."
People think it's funny. They're like, "You've seriously been patted on the head." Yes, people pat my freaking head. Like, I'm a dog. Like, pat me on. Like, I'm not your little child. I have been patted on the head.
Yes.
Like, seriously, like, what the?
Yeah, no, I feel you because I've been there. It's happened many, many times. I cannot, and this is a disclaimer. I'm not bashing anybody that prays, because we all, at some point we all believe in whatever we believe in. But girl, I have been stopped in the middle of a parking lot coming out of a grocery store, and people just ask if they can pray for me or put their hands on me. Like,
I was with an this happens to me all the freaking time. I was with an one time, and the guy followed us through Walmart.
Oh no,
wanting to hug the person I was with for being with me.
That's happened. Yep, it's happened to me too.
Like, the guy was an asshole, so he thought it was funny, and I was like, no, this is not funny, and like, no, like, this does not need to happen.
It's weird and strange and uncomfortable. Yeah, and even like my significant other, my husband, when we started dating, gosh, this was a while ago because we've been together forever now. But yeah, when we first started dating, and I warned him, I said this could happen, and he's like, no, that doesn't happen. And now, like, he'll go somewhere with me, and he's like, for real, dude, this seriously does happen. And I'm like, yeah, like, it absolutely does. And it is.
No, it's funny.
Go ahead.
I don't know, like, this is kind of on topics of relationships. Me and my like boyfriend, like, we live together, so like,
yeah,
we're both in wheelchairs, right?
Yeah.
So people think they're like doing a good deed or whatever. I have gotten pulled over on the side of the road because, like, I walk my dog, and like, Devin will be on the porch so you can see his wheelchair. I have gotten pulled over like 2 or 3 times for people asking if we need groceries, or like,
girl, like, you don't know. Yeah, you don't.
I'm not your charity case. Like, you would not say that if I was able-bodied. If we were both able-bodied, like,
girl, I'm not even lying, and this is like full on, like, true story. Way back in the day, it had to be. Oh my God, my youngest daughter is going to be 16 in November, which is, wow, it's crazy. But yeah, it had to be at least 14 years ago. So this was back in the day, and literally, my ex-husband had gotten off of work and was, we were waiting for him, and my daughter was just born. She was born in November, so it had to be around Christmas time. And this, no joke, story time. She was a newborn in her stroller, and I was pushing her through the mall, waiting on my ex to get off work. And we usually went to Books a Million afterwards and kind of sat there for a little bit until the mall closed. And so I was pushing her through the mall, and all of a sudden I saw this lady start to follow us. And I'm like, I noticed her out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, okay. And so then she got closer and closer, and I'm like, this is weird. So I kind of stopped and pulled over, and I'm like, am I in your way? Do you need to like go by? And she's like, oh no. She's like, I was just wondering, can I help you in any way? And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, it's Christmas and you have a newborn. So obviously you're by yourself because no one would be with you, right? Like, how did you have this bit? I'm like, I just sat there for a minute and I was like dumbfounded for a second. And I'm just like, is this woman serious? And she's like, well, I want to go out and buy Christmas presents for your baby. I'm like, no, ma'am, it's okay. She's good. Like, we don't need anything. And she wanted to touch her. And I'm like, no, thank you. She's a newborn. I'm not about that life. So I went and told my husband, and my husband found her and like had to speak to her and was like, please don't do that. And then we told her not to do that. And she still followed us out and proceeded. We had to end up, calling the authorities because this woman was like serious.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like,
That's yeah.
we get so many, like, they think the more it happens to us, because we are both, like, me and my significant other both disabled. I like my view of, like, it's all about feeding their ego. Like,
Yeah,
they think they're doing a good job, so it's like, yay me, I'm doing a good job. Like,
I did my charitable deed for the day.
yes, and like,
Yeah.
I'm not, and like one like, I don't like one lady, like, took it to the point where she like forcibly came in our home.
Oh,
and,
no,
like,
no.
and
Are
like,
you serious?
I didn't know, we weren't like, we didn't like know the full story, but like, one of her remarks was like, I don't know how you live like this. And I'm like, what? Live like what? Like speaking about my disability.
Does she mean like in your chair and like function
Yeah, like
daily? Okay.
like having a disability. She like looked at me. I was like, I don't know how y'all live.
What? What does that mean?
What kind of comment?
What
is
does that
that?
mean? What does it mean?
And like my boyfriend like had to call. I was like trying to calm me down. Like, she meant well. And I was like, that doesn't
give her the right.
That doesn't matter. Like, that you don't say that to some. You
No.
don't go into somebody's home and say that to them. Like,
No,
that's
like disrespectful and like intrusive. And I would no. I'd be like, excuse me, if you don't get out of my house, I'm gonna call the police.
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't come back. She doesn't come back because we took care of it. Like, our next door neighbor helped us take care of it. So
that would kind of be scary. Like, you didn't know this woman? Like, she was some stranger?
Oh, she saw me. She saw me on the side of the road.
Oh, this is the same woman that saw you on the side of the road.
It's a different person, but they see me walking on the side or rolling on the side of the road, and they see Devin sitting there. We're both in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And they make this assumption that we like need help. And
that's happened to me so many times because I used to live like within the city limits. Now I live kind of in the boondocks, but which I kind of like it that way a little bit. There are drawbacks either way, but anyway, I lived in the city limits most of my life, and so yeah, that's happened to me because I've had stores like close to me that I've just driven my chair to, and I mean there was even a point in time in my 20s where a pool hall was super close to me, and we had sidewalks all the way down to the pool hall. So I would travel my ass, I'd leave my apartment back in the day, and this was way before now, pandemic, pre-pandemic times and all of that. Like, I'd travel all the way down to the pool hall and do karaoke with my friends with no worries in the world because there were sidewalks and I knew how to go. But people would still, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, do they know you're out? Like, what? Who?
No, girl. I had where I used to live, like, there was no bus stop, so you waited on the side of the road and you parked the bus down like a taxi. I had the cops called on me not once but 3 times
Yeah.
because people thought they were doing a terrible deed, and they would tell the cops there's a girl on the side of the road in a wheelchair, and she does, and like she looks like she's like sleeping. I was
I would be so upset.
I
I
was
would be so pissed.
texting, and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
it was, and the cops like started to make a joke out of it, like they knew who I was, but they still had to come because somebody called.
I would be so pissed. Like,
The first time they came, they had like the ambulances and everything. Like it freaks me out. Like
I can't do it.
it made me start crying because I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah,
with, like,
I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. You and I are like literally like switch at birth, because I mean it. Like, I am very cautious of people like that. Not because I disrespect authority, because I don't. I think they're there for a reason, and it's great. However, but when I know there are people that need your help, and you come for
Yeah.
me because I am doing something normal, quote unquote, or walking down the street,
Yeah,
and
I was
something
like,
called,
I was like totally overwhelmed. I was totally overwhelmed because it was like sirens blaring, like
ambulance.
I'm just sitting here, like leave me alone.
I get it, girl. I've been in a situation like that. Like, one situation in particular, in my past, like, I was doing what I normally do. I went, and I strictly put myself in places where, if I have to choose a place to live, or an apartment or a house, whatever, at the time, and back in my 20s or whatever, it was like an apartment or a duplex. So I would specifically find places that were close to like the grocery store, or places that I like to go, so that I could drive my chair there and wouldn't have to worry about transportation or anything like that. Because sometimes I just want to get out and go for a walk like a normal person,
Yeah.
or walk my dog like a normal person, quote unquote. And like, I can't tell you how many times that kind of a situation happened to me. And so, and the first time it happened, I was a lot like you, and I just got overwhelmed, because I don't, contrary to popular belief, I don't want to be the center of attention in that way,
Oh,
and I'm trying to do something normal, like go to the grocery store that's like 2 minutes away from me, rolling my wheelchair down the sidewalk. There's no reason for you to send a cop to ask me what I'm doing, or if I'm okay.
I get the like after it happened, like I was telling people, and they're like, wait, they're like, when you wait, they have the time to call the police, but not pull over and
Ask you.
yeah.
That's my thing. Is like, again, you said it, like, that's my thing. If you're so concerned about me and what I'm doing at that time, why don't you pull over and ask me, hey, do you need help, or can I help you do something? But then when something does happen, and you're trying to you're trying to get help, or you need it, like, I've noticed too that a lot of times people will just pass, because and then you're like, well, damn. So, it's kind of catch-22, I guess, in that sense. But I'm so used to what you're talking about. You're absolutely right. And I think, especially, and I hate to say this, but it's because not only are we in a chair, but we're women. So I think, the reality of that, like, a single woman in a wheelchair going down the street to the Dollar General or whatever to go get whatever she needs is such a big deal. And they're doing,
not only are we women, we could seriously, like we've talked about this, and like on our personal, we could seriously pass as 15-year-olds, and we're over here like double that. So people think that think that we're like these innocent little girls. And like we're adults.
Yeah, exactly. I've had people ask me for my ID so many times, and I'm like, I am 40 years old, I have 2 children, and I live right here. And they're like, can I see your ID? I'm like, ugh. They're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, here.
What's funny is that there's an age difference between me between me and Devin. There's like a 6-year age difference. I'm older than he is, but he does not get carded because he looks his age.
Yeah.
He looks older than his age. But I get carded all of the time.
My significant other is the same way. He's younger than me by a couple of years, and he looks older than what he is. And I can't tell you, girl, when we started dating, because we've been together, God, this year will be 7 years. And he, from the first date, we actually went on and this is so funny, like true story. We actually went on our first date, and we were in St. Augustine, which is like a little beach town here, and everybody's like just walking on the sidewalks and going to the movie. And so we had gone to the movies, and we were coming out of the movie and going to dinner, and this guy stopped my my significant other and was like, "Oh, it's so nice of you to take care of her, and it's so nice of you to, blah blah blah, and is she your sister?" And he's like, "No, that's my girlfriend." And then the guy asked him literally, like, "Why would you?" And he's like, "What?"
But it goes both ways, because I experienced it both dating an able-bodied person and a disabled person.
Yeah.
Like we have to go out with other people because we don't drive. Like,
Right.
we can't, like, we don't drive. So like,
I don't drive either.
People assume that me and Devin are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Instead of in relationships, we're usually with my parents, because they're the ones that drive us places.
Yeah.
So they think we're brother and sister with our parents.
Girl, no. Yeah, the same thing happened with my significant other. Like, from the first time we started dating, like one of our first times, he, this man actually like took him in, shook his hand, and was like, "Oh, you're so nice." He's like, "For what? Like dating my girlfriend?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, blah blah. I didn't mean to offend you." All the things that you typically hear after somebody makes an ass of themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely something that's real, especially in our world, because like you said, we look a lot younger than we are, which is a blessing and a curse, I guess. But yeah, it definitely happens. Another thing I wanted to get into with you, and it's about being in, I'm just kind of jumping into this whole influencer thing. I used to never want to do. I used to do interviews, like your interview was like one of the first ones that I've done through the pandemic and all of that. But I'm now more in front of the camera because of the hosting thing that I'm doing now with Don't Burn the Day, and also with some other things that I'm doing. And now I have a special announcement coming in a few days. That's you. If you follow me on Instagram, then you probably know. But yeah, so I mean, as an influencer and as a woman with a disability, like, talk about that realm, and how you feel as far as being in the thick of it and being someone who's has a following and kind of can deal with the good and the bad there.
There is so much pressure to have content and like do all this stuff, and like I don't know about you, but like I see so much. I don't want to like turn this into a negative, because
girl.
Influencers are like positive, but I'm just gonna throw this out there. When you are unapologetically yourself, and when you're uncensored, and you don't give if you don't give a crap about what other people say, the disability community can be such bullies.
Yes. Yeah.
I've gotten so much hate from the disability community for Spastic Chatter, for what I post. It does not, it blows my mind
Girl, can
I don't
we?
I don't get any any hate from like the able-bodied community or whatever. It's just from the disability community.
All right, can I just stop you right there and say, first of all, on this show, DDTD and myself and AJ, even he, like, we love you. We love who you are. We love what you stand for. So you will never get hate on our channel. You are a girl. You know you've been my girl from way back. So we, like I keep saying, we're sisters from another mister because I really believe that, because I try to be unapologetically myself all the time. Like, yeah, I'm not brand new to the advocacy world, but I'm definitely brand new to being an influencer, because I used to really be leery of putting myself out there, even though I have 15 years in this field as an advocate. I still am very protective of my family. I don't put a lot of things out there about my children because they are, teenagers, and they just are being teenagers right now, and they don't really want to do all
Yeah.
that. Um, and it's so funny to me. And I think it's hilarious that we as a disability community, and especially the women, I don't know if you get it, but some of us can be catty.
Yes.
Like, why?
Totally. I totally like it's like you have to like it and it all comes down to pressure. And like I think it's because I think it's today's society, like the way that things have evolved with social media. Like it all there's so much pressure to be your best self.
Yes.
Like so I don't yeah I don't know how these like young 20-year-olds are doing this, because when I was that age, I was not confident at all. I did not claim my disability. I was one of those I was one of those that used the differently abled. Like I did not want to be seen as disabled. Like, but now being 31, I'm like, I'm disabled and proud. Like there are things I cannot do.
You and I have talked about this at length, and I am exactly the same way. In my early 20s, even in my teens, I did not want to claim it. Like, I was like, whatever, I'm cool. I'm just like you. I just sit in a chair. But now, at like 40 years old, I'm like, F it. Like, I am proud of who I am. I worked a lot. I worked really hard to get here. And like, this is who I am. So, like, if I do an Instagram reel and the video isn't perfect, like, whatever, that's unapologetically me. That's who I am. We don't try to censor ourselves on the show. This is an adult show. I mean, we talk about adult topics that have to do with our life every day, and we bring on advocates that are, from the disability community, but also we try to bring on people that are outside of the disability community, so that we can show the inclusivity of it all. However, I, again, don't like to associate myself with words like that, because I feel like we're just a society. Everybody should love everybody, and there should be no cattiness. And there, if you like we talked about, if you're really going to be an ally, then really be an ally.
Yeah. But like like speaking on what you said about like putting yourself out there and everything, and like being like talking about being an influencer. I started like to be an influencer, you have to have some thick skin, and you have to be very comfortable with yourself, because when I started YouTube like 10 years ago, and like I started Wheelchair Whitney like when I was 18, and the way that society, the way that it came to be what it is today is I didn't tell anyone about I didn't tell any of my friends about Wheelchair Whitney, and then it kind of blew up, and my twin sister found it on a Google search. Yeah. And she's like, Whitney's not gonna post this, so I'm gonna post it for her. Like, and that's how it kind of like evolved.
I just really, I think that it's really important. Again, I think it's really important that we all just, band together, and like there's so much like diversity in this world, but there's so much that still needs to be done as far as like, I don't know if you see it like I do, but and maybe this is me, and like you can let me know, but I absolutely feel like within the disability community, and like disclaimer here, I'm not trying to call anybody out or make any disability less than the other, but when it comes to having different disabilities, like having a spinal cord injury or having cerebral palsy, people try to group us in different categories. And if you don't if you have CP, then you're only supposed to be friends with people with CP. Or if you have SEI, then you can't, like, you get what I'm saying? Like it's like
Yeah.
an automatic situation.
Or you have the way what I've gotten is you have a disability, so like obviously you should be friends. Like
Yeah, like they assume that the only friends we have.
To be honest, like growing up, it's totally been the opposite. It's totally been the opposite for me, because
Me too.
usually when I find somebody, and you're the total opposite, so this is not about you. But usually when I find somebody with CP, all they want to talk about is their medical appointments, like blah blah blah. Like,
that's not me. And
no, I don't want to. I don't want to. No, I'm not here. I'm not here for that.
You absolutely, you've known me long enough to know that is not me. I'm the one who will just grin and bear it for as long as I have to before I go see a doctor. No, I'm not all about that medical life. I do, if that's who you want to be, if that's what you are, then great. And no shade, but I'm just saying, no, that's not me at all.
Yeah.
And what we try to do here on Don't Run the Day is like just include everyone, and so a lot of times people question us about, well, why don't you talk about more disability things, or why don't you talk about this, because it's our show, first of all. So I mean, we're just trying to inspire everybody, and there's not a specific type of person or an area of disability that we want to talk about. I think that if we can make a difference in one person's life by what we talk about that episode, then we've done our job for the day.
Exactly.
We don't have to change the world.
And my whole thing is that Spastic Chatter, I'm telling other people's stories. So like whatever they want to share is their story to tell. It's not like I'm not gonna sit there and like change their story or put words in their mouth. Like it's their story to tell. Like, yeah. So
and I kind of feel, like we were talking about earlier, and the pandemic and how it's kind of morphed into what it is for us, for you and I never, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, are you going to be in front of a camera interviewing people and call it fun for yourself and a job, I would say hell no. Like, you're crazy. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, there's no way. But finding its way to me was interesting, because AJ and I are just ourselves. We, AJ is one person and he talks about what he wants to talk about, and I'm another person that bounces off of him. But when we do shows like this, when it's just me, like, I'm not trying to be anybody but me, and I want an authentic guest. And that's what I love about all of our guests that we have had on, is that most of them have been pretty authentic with who they are and what they bring to the table. So
it's awesome.
Anyway, so I know that you have so much coming up, and I know that you're just so busy all the time. You want to talk about what's going on in Whitney's world?
Well,
in the future?
A lot of it is like work related, which is like but like I have a bunch of like podcast stuff coming.
Give people what's your podcast information. Why don't you give people
so they can. I just created a website that's more professional. I'm trying to stay away from I'm trying to go to venture out of wheelchair Whitney because that was in my teenage years. So I'm trying to be more adult. So I made a website and it's whitbailey.com, and to see Spastic Chatter episodes, it's whitbailey.com/Spastic Chatter.
That's kind of what's happening with me too. I think it's all, we kind of morphed at the same time. I'm you know, if anybody's listening, our viewers out there know, if you've been around for a while, you know that I personally am trying to start my own blogging business. I've been working for Patty and Ricky, who have been great to me. I love Alex and Patty and Ricky. Actually, that's how Whitney and I got connected the first time. So Alex is an angel. I love her. And so I will keep writing for Alex and doing things like that. But I am trying to venture out and do something new and create my own blogging and media services business. And so that will be launching pretty soon. And I've got some other things coming down the pipe that have to do with me going solo. So I'm excited about those things. And yeah.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, what do you think in the future? Like, where do you see Whit Bailey going? Like, what kind of things do you want to do with it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've thought about writing a book because I don't know. I have a unique story. But I don't know. I'm very go with the flow at this point in my life, where whatever opportunity comes, I'm taking. I'm not so much searching for stuff. Like I'm kind of at that point where I'm kind of like content with my life how it is right now.
I think at a certain point, if you're like me, I'm so much of a go-getter. Like in my own life, I have so many things going on. Like, and that's another thing we can get on the topic of. Like people don't think that. Well, I don't know if you feel like this, but I definitely do. People think that just because we have a disability, we don't have anything to do with our life. All we do is like sit at home and watch TV. But girl, let me tell you, your girl has been busy as heck. Like for real. Like I have so much going on with work and life and in general. Like, oh my gosh. So I think that's another misconception. We can sit here all day and talk about misconceptions, but how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like there's a misconception when it comes to people with disabilities and having,
that you're like
life?
There's a misconception that when it comes to work and disability, that you're just on government benefits.
Yes, girl.
You can't do anything. But while yes, I am on government benefits. That's only because I don't like because like I have to have insurance through I somehow, and like that is a whole, but I work on top of that. Like
that's a whole nother topic we can get into. Yeah. I understand. I get it. And you and I are the same way. Yes, I will say, and I will stand here proudly and say, I have to utilize government benefits because a lot of the time, I do have a disability, and yes, I work my butt off from home, but it wouldn't cover, my insurance and everything. So right now I'm on government benefits just because I need to utilize the insurance. And even though it's Medicaid, and I know it's not the greatest, it is insurance that I would need to pay for my medical things like my chair and medical supplies. But is that our goal? No, it's not. It's always like just to be me and to show the world like what I have out there and what's going on. All right, well, I know you have to jump off here pretty quickly. I just want to do some back of the house things and say goodbye. Let's wrap it up because I know you've got some other things to get to. And I want to thank you again for being on the show. Come back anytime you want to. You're more than welcome. this was a short hour, but I'm
I'm sorry. Like,
no, girl.
it's one of those disabled things. We order groceries. We do curbside pickup, and this is the only time there was.
No, I get it, girl. It's real life. I get it totally. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you're proud of me because I know I started kind of doing this and kind of venturing out because of the interview with you. I felt like if she could do it, I can do it. So
Totally.
I did it, and here we are. And I'm the co-host of Don't Burn the Day and so many other things going on. But yeah, like I just want to welcome you back anytime. Thank you for coming on, and you're fabulous. And yeah, everybody look out for Whitney and check out Spastic Chatter and all she's got coming up in the future. And let's say one more time, thank you to our sponsors. I know we didn't mention Friendlies and Patty and Ricky, but thanks to Friendly Shoes and pattyandricky.com. Go over there and check out our 10% discount code if you want anything. It's pattyandricky.com. DBTD10 will get you 10% off anything over on the website. And also the CP conference. Go make sure you register today. It's free, and you can see, you can join myself and Whitney and AJ, my co-host, will be there the whole 2 days of the conference. And so, yeah, come join us, and we will we'll just be there and we'll have a good time. Anyway, Whitney, thanks again for coming on the show, and I know we'll be talking in the future, and I'll see you back.
Hopefully I can come back on and we'll have a longer conversation.
Yeah, it seemed really short. I thought we were going to be able to get into some other things, but it's okay. That's just a reason for you to come back. I'm so excited that I'm so excited that you came on, and thank you so much. And I know we'll see you again in the future. You know, you're a member of the family, and we will catch you on the flip side, little lady.
Okay.
Have a good day, and you guys don't burn the day. And AJ will be back next week with a member from Green Mountain Support Services joining us to talk all about the CP conference. So guys, make sure to tune in for that, and we will see you next week. Guys, have a good day.